As I've mentioned before, I'm going to be doing more of these Chargers mock drafts just because I don't really have much other better stuff to do as far as sports news coming out for my teams, but also just because at number 17 you could do so many things, whether it's trade up, trade down. I usually don't, but when it comes to players available at that spot for the Chargers, they do have a lot of positions they can fill up, and a lot of guys available that I like. So go through most of the guys that I do like, especially in that first round, but also completing all the way into the seventh. So here's two mock drafts real quick. So the first one, we're going to go with wide receiver Jameson Williams from Alabama, who is coming off that ACL injury, but all things considered, and they're building for the future. And if he can be healthy when it comes to playoff time, like how I know the Chargers want to be in the playoffs this season coming up, what kind of a better way to get a weapon like that? It's almost like a big time free agent signing. So it could be worthwhile for them to make this move to go with this gut, but we'll see how this goes. But I definitely think he could be a massive weapon for Justin Herbert's future coming up. Then round 3, number 79, I have the Chargers choosing linebacker Chad Muma from Wyoming. He's been one of the better linebackers up there the past couple years, especially this season. I think he had over 100 tackles yet again, but he is also a very good cover linebacker, which is definitely what the Chargers have been missing and they definitely need. So it's pretty good to get him here in the third round. He probably won't last that long in the real draft, but I had to definitely snag him up when he was available. Round 4, number 123. I've been going with a very athletic, very fast defensive end from Virginia Tech, Amari Barno. Never really heard about him throughout the year, but he definitely shined and showed out at the combine because of showing how fast he was and looked pretty good during those drills for the edge guys. And, the Chargers, they did sign some pretty good guys on the edge and on their defensive line, but to add another one, especially a younger guy like this, could be very helpful for them, especially with that type of speed. So looking forward to that. Then in round 5, number 160, I have him choosing a running back and Pierre Strong Jr. from South Dakota State. Never really heard about him until I saw like a highlight reel put together of him, and also him at the combine. Looked very well in those drills, and in the highlight video he just showed that burst ability that these bigger backs need, especially in the NFL, to be able to break off a nice long run and get you a touchdown or have a big play for you, whether it's game-winning time or in the playoffs. So definitely like him as a second string running back for the Chargers. Then in round 6, number 195, have them going for offensive tackle and Tyler Vrabel. I know a tackle is a very much needed position for them, but I didn't really see a guy that I liked that was available until now while I was doing this mock draft. And obviously he has good family heritage. His father was a great player for, the Patriots, and also is the head coach of the Titans right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets drafted by his father to the Titans at some point. Hopefully not before this. So I think just to have a guy like that on your team, he should be able to push for one of the starting tackle positions, or especially the right side, hopefully. Then in round 6, number 214, I have them choosing a safety I like very much in Smoke Monday. Not only because of his name, because every time I saw him play for Auburn the past couple years, he was always there making plays, deflections, getting interceptions at times. Good timely tackles, especially for the safety position. He's a big guy, so he most likely can play up near the line of scrimmage as well for you. So that's why I like him a lot. Then round number 7, number 236, I've been going with the interior lineman in Zach Tom from Wake Forest. Don't really know much about him. He has good size, be able to play inside. Wake Forest has been pretty okay the past couple years with their offense, so it's not that crazy of a reach. But obviously, round 7 is more developmental type of guy, so you never know. You can hit on a starter. You would just hit on a bench guy. You never know, but definitely a guy to bring in is good enough for me. He's a pretty good guy. Then another round 7 pick, number 254. I have him going with the cornerback and Cordell Flott. He's from LSU. He looked like he was pretty thin once I saw pictures of him, but he's obviously a pretty talented guy if he was able to get onto the roster at LSU, especially at the cornerback position. This most likely is for, special teams, maybe a way backup cornerback in case there's many injuries. But yes, hopefully he can use some of that thin speed on the special teams. Then round 7, 255, have him going with the defensive end out of Florida, Jeremiah Moon. Another guy who's very thin, could most likely play special teams as well, but I don't know, because he had to be pretty good, like I've mentioned, to play in the SEC and also with Florida on the defensive line. So he probably had some talent, never really seen or heard about him that much, but he is still available, so that's why I took him. Nice project for the Chargers, so we can see what they will do. Then round 7, number 260, their final pick, I finally went, with a tight end in Derek Deese Jr. from San Jose State. Didn't really hear much about him. I know San Jose State's offense has been doing pretty well the past couple years, and I think he's had over 10 plus touchdowns in his career, which isn't that horrible for a tight end either. And they run the ball a lot up there, so he's probably pretty good in the running game, blocking wise as well. So to get a guy like that in the 7th round is pretty solid in my opinion. Now to get on to the second mock draft, I have them going with offensive linemen, especially at tackle, to start off this round 1 at number 17. That is Trevor Penning. I like him a lot. He's one of the more nastier players. We'll get into the face of everybody. Almost plays too much after the whistle is blown, so he could get some crappy penalties, but he is a mauler when it comes to the running game. I don't know how great he is on the passing game, but it is the right tackle position, so it might be okay as long as they're consistently running the ball and if he holds up at least 5 seconds. But I don't know. If people project him as a first-round pick, he must be pretty talented and able to do both in the blocking game. Round number 3, number 79, I have them going with Breece Hall, the running back from Iowa State. I've known him the past 2 or 3 years. He's been very talented. I always watch Iowa State just because they always seem to upset a big team here and there every single year, and he's always had big games as well, multiple touchdown games, over 100-yard games. Usually the past 2 seasons was named the top 3 or 5 best running backs for award season as well. So to get a guy like that in the 3rd round, it's pretty solid. Could be an eventual starter in the future, I believe, but this is definitely a very good get. One of my favorite players coming out of college this year. Then round 4, number 123, have them picking a tight end in Jeremy Ruckert. He is from Ohio State. He's kind of more known as a blocking tight end because they do a lot of running out there in Ohio State. But when they did throw the ball to him, he was able to catch the ball pretty well and score quite a few touchdowns, make a couple big plays. So maybe that part of his game will open up in the NFL. You never know. So definitely taking a little bit of a chance here. But when it comes to the running game, I think this is definitely a very solid pickup in the 4th round. Then round 5, number 160, have them going for a little bit of a need position, cornerback in Zion McCollum. Never really knew about him from Sam Houston State until he went to the combine. Showed out there a lot. He's very tall. It's I think he was over 6'2", maybe 6'3", 6'4". That's pretty crazy for the cornerback position, but he still athletically showed what he can do. Was fast enough as well in his drills, so I definitely think this is not only a great project, but probably a projected future starter for the Chargers, in my opinion. Round 6, number 195. I don't expect this linebacker to be there from Appalachian State, but DeMarco Jackson, he was surprisingly there in this mock draft, and he's basically one of the better players, especially the linebackers out there in that conference, and he's definitely one of the better players on Appalachian State's roster. Yes, I do not expect him to be available there, but to be able to get this guy this late to shore up your backup linebacker position for the Chargers would be pretty awesome. So I like that. Then round 6, 214. Once again, I have safety Smoke Monday. Once again, he's available at this spot. I think he might get selected higher just because of what I mentioned earlier in the last mock draft. But yes, once again, I had to go with the safety here just because when it comes to safeties available this late in the draft and what was available before, didn't really like it. So got to stick with my dude. Then round 7, 236, I have him going for a defensive end, Jeffrey Gunther. I know Coastal Carolina has been a pretty solid team the past couple years. They've actually been ranked, even though they're one of the lower end type of schools out there, but they've had, nice numbers, pretty good records past couple years, and I remember them talking about this guy a lot, but for some reason he was still available here in the 7th round, which is pretty crazy. But obviously this late you're going after special teams guys, way backup guys, so maybe he can be able to get some playing time at one of those spots, but we'll see what he can do. Then round 7, number 254, going with a guard or interior offensive lineman, and Logan Bruce. Don't know much about him. Didn't really remember him from the combine either, but I do know that because he's from Wisconsin and they run the ball like crazy, he will be a great package running type of offensive lineman. So as long as he's in there, they're running that way. So I definitely like that pickup in round 7. Another round 7, number 255. Have him going with a wide receiver from Texas Tech and Eric Ezukanma. I know when I played Yahoo Fantasy College Football past couple years, he was always a pretty good solid guy to go after because he was always throwing up big numbers. So hopefully he can. I don't know why he was dropping back that much. I don't know if there's an injury or he just kind of tailed off, but usually at Texas Tech, you gotta be able to catch the ball a lot because they're gonna throw it, and hopefully he has enough speed. He did look like a bigger guy, so maybe he could be your bigger wide receiver as well in the end zone. Then their last pick, round 7, number 260, I went for another defensive end in Tyree Johnson from Texas A&M. This guy, I never really heard of him, but Texas A&M has been really solid for a while now, and they've been throwing out a lot of good defensive line players. They have a couple good ones earlier in the draft that were unavailable for the Chargers in this mock draft, but to be able to get a talented guy who's been around other talented dudes, we'll see what he can do. Definitely a way backup player, especially this late in the draft, but we'll see how this goes. So yeah, thanks for watching, people. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. It's just a quick, easy mock draft of players that I've gone through. I forget the name. I think it's like NFL Mock Draft Network. I'll get the correct name in the next video officially, because there are going to be a couple more of these to fill out spaces in the YouTube verse when I won't have enough stuff to talk about. So yes, like I said, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.